the dude is playing the Duke. Who'd have thought that? I've been waiting months to say that. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to RealScreenReviews.com. I'm Nick Yakabuchi, happily joined by my returning guest critic, Greg Hill. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me once again.
Well, always. We love having him back in the left chair. What can I say? And the next movie that we are going to be reviewing is True Grit. And this remake of the John Wayne classic opened on Wednesday, December 22nd, 2010, just a few days before Christmas. And this stars Academy Award winner Jeff Bridges, Academy Award winner Matt Damon, and newcomer Haley Steinfeld. And we all know that this comes to us from the Coen brothers, the filmmakers that made The Big Lebowski as well as Fargo. And at this point, I'll turn it over to my guest critic to tell us a little bit about True Grit.
Well, True Grit starts out, we're in... I can't remember right at the time where the story is set. Somewhere in Arkansas, I believe.
Yeah, the Midwest.
Haley Steinfeld's character, Maddie Ross, is explaining that this villain, Tom Chaney, has murdered her father, and she's looking for someone to track him down and bring him to justice, basically. And
it's basically the same storyline that followed the John Wayne version from about 40 years ago.
Yes, and you see right off the bat that she handles herself very much like a grown-up. She says several times that she's only 14 years old, and yet she's dealing with these people who are twice her age and making them look foolish at that.
I would go so far as to say that this Haley Steinfeld is the main character of this film. I would say that Jeff Bridges and Matt Damon and Josh Brolin and Barry Pepper and all these other credible actors are all supporting this 14-year-old girl who delivers one of the strongest female performances of the year. And I was totally blown away, Greg.
Yes. So was I. I mean, right from the beginning. I mean, she's taking care of all these affairs, and she's like, my mother can't do it. She's wrought with grief, and I've got 2 younger siblings at home. There's nobody else that can take care of this, and she's just handling herself so well. Yes, it was a great performance.
And I'll tell you, I want to say the biggest complaint that I heard about this movie before it came out, not after people that have seen it, before it came out, is how are you going to remake the John Wayne movie? Well, nobody can step into John Wayne's shoes. Personally, I agree with that to a certain extent, but like I said already, there's been 40 years that have passed between the original True Grit and this remake of True Grit. It's a different story. I mean, the basic premise is there, but they do different things with it. They're more loyal to, I guess, the source material, which is the original book. But I thought that Jeff Bridges actually stepped into this role, rather seamlessly. I think he really ate it up. I mean, it never felt like he was trying to imitate John Wayne. It never felt like he was trying to imitate anybody. He came up with his own take on the character of Rooster Cogburn, and I thought he was great.
Again, yes, another phenomenal performance. Again, never having seen the original, to me, it didn't seem forced that he was trying to be John Wayne. You could tell that he was just very loose, and he was being his own version of Rooster Cogburn, and it was another powerhouse performance.
I agree. I will say I have just a few complaints. I mean, not even really much. I loved the fact that it felt like a Western, it looked like a Western, very authentic looking. But I like Barry Pepper, the actor of Barry Pepper, a lot. I like Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin has emerged as one of my favorite actors in the last few years. And they're really big names, they're really big talents. I kind of felt like they were kind of wasted a little bit in the movie. They really could have had something more to do, but I guess I can't really fault the Coen brothers because they went out of their way to stack the deck with A-list talent, even down to the smaller roles. But once again, I have to tell you that everybody supports Haley Steinfeld, who steals the reels off of the movie screen. I mean, she is just really a powerhouse at the age of 14, and I thought she was just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, and Matt Damon I was kind of surprised by because, seeing him in the whole Western genre, it's something new for him. I thought he did a pretty good job. I thought he played a good, arrogant Texan.
I think he's one of the most talented actors in Hollywood, and I commend him for taking a role where he's not the star of the show. It's not the Bourne Identity. He's not the main character, and I commend him for being second chair to both Jeff Bridges and newcomer Haley Steinfeld. I thought the scenery shots were gorgeous.
Yes.
I mean, it really looked like a Western. It really felt like a Western. I really liked this movie a lot. However, I'm not going to tell you that I didn't think it was one of the best films of the year. I did think it was well above average, but when I come tallying up the best films of the year, I don't think that this is going to make the cut, even though I think it was touted as probably Oscar-caliber contender and such.
Yeah, I agree. It was very enjoyable. I mean, I'm not familiar with the Coen brothers. I've never seen Fargo or anything else that they're famous for, but I really like what they did with the film. I like the fact that they chose not to go the route of trying to remake the John Wayne film,
right?
And that they took the path of being true to the original novel. I really liked that. Like you said, the scenery in the movie was amazing, very well performed. And
I'll tell you this, at 2 hours, I thought the movie flew. I couldn't believe it.
Yes.
Like, at the end, well, you kind of know that the movie's winding down, and I was like, wow, is this really going to be the end? Because it really flew by. And at almost 2 hours, I was shocked that it went by as quickly as it did. Well, how many stars are you going to give it, Greg?
I thought this was a solid feature. Good all around. I gave it 3 stars.
Once again, dude, Greg and I are never really that far off the mark. I'm going to give this one a solid 3 stars out of 4 as well. Like I said, not one of the best movies of the year, but I would be hard-pressed to think that anybody that went and saw this, whether you're a teenager or an older adult, whether you're a male or female, I think really there's something for everybody in this film. It's just a solid story, and it's well told, and it's well acted, and I really don't know what else you could really ask for a day at the movies.
Yeah, I mean, it's well worth your admission money. You know, if you're paying full price or going to a matinee, it's well worth it.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're going to wrap this up, and we're going to say that you got favorable reviews for the remake of True Grit from both Greg and myself. And Greg is going to be back shortly to help us tally up the best and worst movies of the year. But until then, we'll say, remember people, we're not always right.
Only when it comes to the movies.
And thank you for your attention.